another episode of this series where I build my um, UI builder basically. But in this one, I'm not actually building anything today. Just want to show you guys how to add the agent skills to for the mobile framework, right? So the previous conversation I had regarding this was having to where did I have this? Yeah, which was going to be this diagram I showed the other day. But then, as it stands, I won't be using the diagram for many reasons. And one of the reasons why the diagram is not being used or being built currently is because most AI agents are able to do this. So rather than building the UI, starting with the UI builder, why not build a skill that we can use to teach the AI what to do? So that even if I decide to build or design to build the builder, which is the UI builder, right? Where I pass the Figma link and then add every other thing I need to. It needs to have some sort of way. I need to give some instructions to the agent, right? To whatever AI model I choose to use, right? To pass the whole thing, then to actually convert the stuff to the Figma link and the Figma notes to an actual design. So I thought of it the other day, like I explained in the previous episode, that I decided to go with another approach that feels easier because currently there are tools like not even tools. Cloud Code can do this, Codex can do all of these things, even Cursor can do this. Just I think just paste the link to it or just give them like an image and then they do this. But the idea is you want to copy an entire Figma link to them and then they do this thing. So rather than having to do that, let's create the rules that is needed for them to understand what to do first of all, and then we use that rule in the bigger picture, whereby we decide to now build the UI to create the UI builder, right, and pass the link, then we know that, yeah, that is what we need to do next, which is quite easy to do at that point. So, which is now why I created this skill. So, this is just a repository that I created where you have things like the skills directory. That means I created the skills directory within the repository. So, this is a GitHub repository. I've not pushed it out as well, so you guys can understand. And I created the GitHub skill, yeah, by just creating a directory also inside the skill and calling it Radix native UI. Now the reason for this is because I can decide to create, probably if you want to have like an helper function or another component that probably works with animations best, or like whatever reasons, maybe like examples or component based registries for Radix native UI framework. I could decide to use that approach instead, and it will still work fine. So I could use one particular repository for all the skills that we have, kind of like the one I showed 2 days ago. Was it yesterday? The previous episode before this one about how Expo does their own stuff. Let me see if I can find that here. I think I have that Expo skills. Yeah, I think I have that here. Yeah. Okay, yeah, this is it. So let me just show you guys this. So it's similar to how Expo, that's the framework for building mobile applications, does theirs. So they have this single repository called skills, whereby you have different things like plugins. But like I said the other day, the reason why you stand everything here stands out is because as long as you can see a skill.md, like it is now like a convention for LLMs and all these tools, AI tools, to be able to see and say, oh, there's a skill here that we can use, and then they read that and use it for their inference. Basically, that's what it means. So in this case, Expo uses the same approach. You can see there's different things. There are different directories here, but inside of them, you still have things called skills, and then you have a skill.md inside each of them also, which is significant. So you can have like about 9, 10 skills in this same repository. So if I try installing this, I can push this to npm and then say npx install Radix native UI skills, and that's it. So if I do that, it will just tell me, oh, there are like 4 skills here, there are like 6 skills. That's just the approach. So I'm giving all this breakdown because in case you want to create a skill, this is basically how to do it. So what am I trying to create a skill for? So for those that might be joining for the first time, not understanding what I'm talking about, this is a UI library I created um for building mobile apps, like for mobile application development. It's called Radix native UI. So it's just a port of Radix generally. Uh, if you're familiar with Radix, that's the popular Radix themes. It's a component library. So this is Radix, right? So if you're familiar with Radix, Radix. Let me just go to the home page like this, right? So this is the native port of it. I just did a port of the entire library, and it's a very small library, it's barely a megabyte. Like everything is barely a megabyte, and you can build cool stuff with it. Like I use it to build basically everything I do these days. Is quite easy to use, and I've shown a lot of demo. You can just check out the other videos on this channel for examples of other beauties in that. So that's basically what I'm trying to now build a skill for. So initially, for those that might not be here, I wanted to build a builder, a Figma builder that and once I passed the Figma link, I passed it and I use an error correction algorithm to get the final response so that it can accommodate errors, right, from all the passing that will be done from the Figma nodes that we are going to get and we are going to map to the corresponding component, but we expect it not to be perfect, right? So, but the idea is if you are going to pass the let's say the error version, right, to the LLM to complete for us, it needs to have a way to properly understand how the library works, right? So that is why we now went with another approach of creating a skill, literally creating a skill that can then be used to like that can be used by the LLMs or by the AI tools to implement all of those things. So that's the idea, and that's basically what this video is all about. So in this case now, I have the port Radix native UI documentation, which is just the llm.txx file. I have so let me just show you guys what I have here. So I have the skills directory. Then inside of that, I have another directory named Radix native UI for the actual package, right? And then we have some examples that can be used by the LLMs. So all of them are in markdown format, so it's easy to understand. So it's just a set of rules. This is how you have to do this. This is what you can use. This is this. This is that. Basically, what it is. And then there's profile, also screen and setting screen. Just basic things that people kind of use all the time to give like the AI a form of this is how you go about it. Don't misunderstand it. Don't do nonsense. Do the right thing. That's it. Then the guidelines.md is just a way to tell it this is what you should use. Don't do this, do this. This is the approach. This is the best practices. So that's basically, as you can see, there's a big do, there's a big don't. There's an example, just a very basic example, right? And then the composition of the component, just to tell it what to do and what to avoid. Like for instance, you do not want to use view when you have the box because we want to use the same thing. But the flexibility is that this does not need you to define this way. And then to change it in one place means you can change it in multiple places and also create component without need to create the normal style sheets that you do all the time, going up and down between components to change stuff. And this can get larger than this, right? This is just you can decide to do this, right? In this case where you justify, you have to add that here and all of those things, but it's easy. And then you have things like variant here that you can use and all of those other stuff, right? So that's an example. Then we have other things like install.md, which also can be used. So install.md also is just a way to tell you how to install the package requirements and all of those things. They're just a set of rules that you give to the LLMs basically that tells them this is how you should go about this, this is what you should do, and it's supposed to work this way. So we have other things like primitives.md. Primitives.md also does something similar in this case. It's just a set of rules, right? But that tells you all the available components you can use and how to use them. It also categorizes them. You can cite it the way, but in a way that makes it easy for the AI to understand. Like I said, just an LLM, just an MD file rather. So you can see how that works, right? So then we have the skills itself. The skills now is what the LLM will look for and then point it to other documentation that is required. Like for instance, additional resource, check this, check this, check this, check this. And that makes sense. So that's basically it, and that's all you need. So these are other things you can use add to it, like the agent.json file for skills, the agents.md file, which is the general rules that most agents tend to pick. First of all, read through it, then use the other documentation. Even specify the link to the documentation, which we have, that you can also use to understand how this thing works generally. So this contains the larger examples, larger best cases, best use cases, and all of those things that can be used. So in because of that, we don't really want to like mess it up by adding too many things. So we want to go straight to the point to make sure that this works, right? But the major thing to note here is that always read through your skill. One wrong thing, one wrong set of rules in your skill, you just make everything go off because you are steering the agent away from the right thing to do. So you have to read the you have to ensure that whatever is in the MD file, all the MD files in this case now because we have multiple, has to be accurate, needs to be accurate. If not, you do not expect a proper result from the LLM. So that is the challenge of all of those things. So, like I said in the last video, also you need to read through it to be sure that this is perfect, and that is why I've not even pushed this anywhere or even converted it to a package. I have the entire to be sure that let me use that. So that's basically one another thing to take. You also need to add like an LLMs.txt a txt file. So all these are conventions. Basic all you need basically is just the skills directory with other many empty files that you need. Now the reason why I'm adding all of this is just for convention's sake because these things are not standardized yet. The whole this is how LLM works. These are how you create an agent, skill, and all of those things. Of course, it's getting standardized now because companies are stepping in, but they are still use of LLM.tsx, agent.md, skills.md, different things. So just add as much as you can add just to help whatever LLM. It gives your framework more visibility. Let me use that word in whatever sense you want to pick. Yeah, that's another approach. Another one to take to note is the LLM.txt. You have the which is basically a normal ratio. Just it's not required, but you can just add it to it by telling it it's a form of like a package or JSON file, but not a package or JSON. It just tells you all about by telling you the name of the skill or the name of the package, the description of the package, or let me say the name of the skill, the description of the skill, the author of the skill, the repository where you see the actual skill or the actual package of that skill, then the home page, the home page basically or the documentation in this case. Then we have the tags which we specify here, then the agent compatibility. Now this is just used by agents also. There are different set of rules given to the agent, system instructions that they tend to understand much more than how we tend to just prompt them do this, right? They are sort of all that long, very, very bulky instruction given to the agents to use, or the LLMs generally, all the LLMs we use. So this is just to help them and to streamline whatever they want to use. So skills are what they pass also to their instruction set to actually tackle whatever task you give them to use when you tell them to use a particular project. So that's basically how it works. So there are a lot of companies now that create skills. I created one recently. Let me show you guys one that I installed for a particular AI project I'm working on. And what that does is if you go here, if I go to skills, you see Gemini API Dev. It's basically a skill that was created by Google to be able to maintain and manage for AI agents to be able to install, to be able to work with all their um, new Gen AI SDKs. So let me just show you guys that. I think I still have that open. Gen AI. Yeah, I think this is it here. I'm sure I have that open. But let me just open this. So um okay, so migrate to this. So this is this. They have like I don't know if I can see that. I should be able to get that right. So yeah, this is the migration documentation. But yeah, also let me see if I can change it to dark mode. I know it's about audience at dark mode, guys. So yeah, in this case, this is what they released also. But they have also have like a skill that you can use. I'm trying to find where I saw that. Okay, I think this is coding agent skill. That's yeah, setting agents. So what I did was just to install it like this or using context 7. Context 7 is also another approach. You see it in most other yeah, this is the recommended one, skills.sh, which I'll show you guys also. The following skills are available relevant to your use case. Skill.sh, open standard for portable agent behavior, which is what is now being standardized. Like I said, there's no standard yet, but it's getting standardized little by little by little. Then the next thing is Context 7, which is supported for users already utilizing the Context 7 ecosystem. So it's just basically all of these things. Nothing too crazy, nothing too much. And I'm not trying to like waste time on this episode also. So I just want to show you guys directly what I'm trying to do, just to guide, keep you up to date, right? So that's basically it. So the next thing now is so that's basically how it works. So the next thing I want to show is the skills.sh, which is the last thing I'll show. Yeah, let me go here. So skills.sh is this is skills.sh. It's an open agent skill ecosystem where you can see the trending skills. You can go there to search for skills, find skills, and all of these are done manually, right? It's not there's no way to push it or publish it. It's based on installation count that this is updated automatically. So the reason why I'm creating a skill is that if someone needs a skill for something and you want to use a skill for this library, right? And you say, oh, I want to use Radix native UI for my project. I need a skill. How do I do it? Give it to an AI. All you need to do is just install a skill just like the one Google does. So this is what I intend to do. I create a package that's going to be on npm that you can just install this way. Npm skill, npx skill, add all of this, and it just gets added. Basically, that's what I'm trying to do. You can see Google as example, right? They have skills.sh, which was what I just showed. This is skills.sh, and yeah, that's basically it. So you can do that also. Or you can do this skills add this. So you're just going to pick it from npm, install it, and that's basically it. So that's what I'm trying to achieve. So I already created the repository for this. Is all out there software that we build. I don't really know how to try it out. This new technology. You can come here, you can speak it public, so you can just fuck the rest with whatever you want with it. It's it's that easy to do. So yeah, so that's what I'm going to be doing with this, and I hope this like teaches you implement your skill. So if you need this, just go to Copy Labs, search for Copy Labs on GitHub, and just pick it here. I'm going to push this now, then it's going to go. If I let me do that on the call now. So let me add this to this. Right, so I'm going to push this. Commit message. There's one thing I was not correct in this data. So let me check from here again. I think it's guidelines. I'm not sure. Guidelines. Okay, install is fine. I'm sure install is fine. So yeah, you can do this too. It works. So install guidelines. Primitives. Okay, primitives is fine. Skill. I was sure there was something I saw I wanted to change. I can't remember it right now. But so this is why you need to proofread all of those things. So but generally the idea is I have this, I will always go through it before I like create a package for it. So I always push to GitHub, make updates. So you can always do that. So I'm going to push this, commit and push this to GitHub automatically. Yeah, push this. Okay, so I'll wait for this. Okay, it's done. It's pushed already. So I'm just going to check this. I'm going to refresh this. And if I'm not mistaken, yeah, you should see this here automatically. The README file is also very documented. So everything is documented, but you can't have too much documentation when dealing with AI. So yeah, feel free to pick this. Just go through it, check it, whatever you want from it. It's free, it's open source. Yeah. So yes, that'll be all for today. I just wanted to show you guys how this works. So if you're interested in creating, this is one way you can do it. This is one way you can attempt to do that. So feel free to check the repo, pick whatever you want to read through how it is done. I added links to everything that you might need from it. It's everything is there. Links, open, everything is basically there. So yeah, feel free to use it, push it down to them so that they install it like I said. Uh, that'll be all for today. That guys how it is being done. So the idea is, let me just add one last thing before I call it a day. So all of these things I said is based on number of installs. So if we have, you can see this as 496k installs, but 0.7k installs. So if I have like 20k installs now, I am extremely sure that by the time the telemetry for this page it's been updated, right? I should be seeing Radix native UI around this point, right? So that's basically what it is. So if I create it as a package and someone says, oh, npx skills install, npx skills add Radix native UI skills, basically that's exactly what is going to display here by default. So the idea is, but I won't push that until I am sure that everything is documentation is properly um, up to date and there are no mistakes. So that's exactly what I'm trying to do. So yeah, that's I'll keep you guys updated once it is done. So tomorrow also I'm going to be showing you guys. So now that this is done, I'll proceed build, which is this UI based builder, whereby I paste the Figma link. What I want to do is just have something like what I have on ChatGPT, just paste the name ChatGPT and just say generate mobile app for it to work. I'm interested in doing that. I'm super interested too. But I just want to understand how those things work because the Figma aspect of thing and all of this. The most interesting part for me is the error correction algorithm aspect, whereby you kind of correct whatever has been done wrongly by the LLM to be able to, or by the algorithm rather, for the LLM to now use that as the final result. I'm excited to get to that part. So if you're also excited to see that, considering subscribing so that you don't miss out when new updates come out. So yes, that'll be it from me today. Thank you so much for joining. Hope you've learned something. I believe you have, and catch you guys in the next one. Bye for now.